Hi everybody. I may have wrote in the thumbnail that the secret is out, but realistically it's not really a secret, is it? Every man and his dog is fully aware that DJI in a few hours will announce the DJI Mavic 3, and there is no greater hint or clue that this is the case as to DJI actually launching a new version of their Fly app to say that it supports the new Mavic 3. I mean, that's absolutely nailed on, confirmed, isn't it, even prior to the launch? So yeah, but what I want to talk about in this video is what is actually new for this Fly app. Does it actually give us anything new? And there is one little thing that I have noticed, and it could be quite a cool little feature, but it also highlights a little gripe, so let's get into it. Well, so first of all, I have done numerous testing on this channel with these DJI Fly app updates, as you're probably aware. If you haven't seen these already, new to the channel, I generally do sort of play around and test all these updates for you guys so you know what you're installing before you go ahead and do it yourself. So I have been playing with this new version 1.5 then of the DJI Fly app, which of course now supports the DJI Mavic 3, as I've already mentioned. And now I've been playing with the DJI Mini 2. Now, if you did follow my previous video where I said about holding off on installing this update, I have to issue a slight retraction on something I said about the LED light. Now, the LED light may be completely and utterly insignificant, but the fact is, if it's on the drone, in my opinion, it should be working. However, this is a really complicated situation because primarily I am an Android user, and for some reason the LED light on an Android device just very simply isn't either responding or working whatsoever. Now, a real bizarre situation actually occurred where, because the last known working version was 1.4.8, where the LED would actually work, when I'd been flipping backwards and forwards between Android versions, for some reason when I've updated from 1.4.8 to 1.4.12, where the LED wasn't working on that version, it must have saved into the drone's memory to switch the LED light off. So when I actually installed the iOS version, for some reason the drone had it baked in to the settings for the LED light to be off. So to rectify that, I had to go back to an old working Android version of the app, switch the LED light on, and then after that I could then actually change it using the iOS version. So just to explain why I did make that mistake in that video to say that the LED wasn't working. However, I have had a play around with this new update on the DJI Mini 2, and I do have to confirm that the issue where the aircraft rotation or your settings basically still don't reset on the version 1.5, so that is still an issue. However, we do have a couple, well, one really little update, and this comes to the remote controller then. So on your smart remote controller, you have got this function button, okay, and this function button is customizable, and it seems within the DJI Fly app there is two new features. One of them is basically to increase the EV value, and the other is to decrease the EV value. So of course, if you wanted to, you could select the one button tap for positive, and then you could select the double tap for negative, meaning you can just flick up and down, and of course you can adjust the EV compensation whilst you are in flight. I'm not sure how that's possibly easier than actually just using the tap button on the device that you are using, but of course DJI seem to have added it. So just to mention my little gripe then, I have always had Android devices, and when I did my last test video I actually used an iOS device, and I did actually have to, you know, hold my hands up and say the experience did seem that little bit more smooth. Now if we look at the actual customizable button settings for Android, you can see us guys on Android only actually have 4. Okay, so very limited, but of course iOS devices, you have got so much more. Now when the Android update comes for the 1.5 and the Mavic 3 support, it'd be interesting to see what buttons and what customizable features does come with that update really. I really want to check that out myself, and you know, please do, if you are an Android user but you've decided to watch this, I will test that version of the app as soon as it is available to download. At the moment, DJI have just launched it for iOS and not quite launched it for Android yet, but as soon as it comes, I will test it. So that wraps up the video. You know, basically, this is a short, sharp update on the DJI Fly app update 1.5. It's basically given us the EV compensation value, which can be customized for the function button, and it also gives us support for the DJI Mavic 3. Is the Mavic 3 something that you're going to be looking at getting? Let me know in the comment section below. That wraps up the video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again soon.